listeners, and welcome back to Everyday Health Stories, the podcast where we explore the fascinating world of medical science through the power of storytelling. Each week, we bring you compelling science and simple strategies that can help you take control of your health one step at a time. If this is your first time joining us, hit pause for a moment and click on follow or subscribe, depending on where you're listening. That way, you'll get notified of new episodes, gain access to exclusive content, and join a community that's making positive changes, one story at a time. Dr. Reddy, today we're diving into a topic that sounds like something out of a science fiction novel, but is actually at the forefront of health research, the gut-brain-skin axis. It sounds incredibly complex, but the core idea that our gut health profoundly impacts our mood, our mind, and even how our skin looks is something I think many people are starting to hear about. What's the real story here?
The gut-brain-skin axis isn't fiction. It's a very real and intricate communication network within our bodies. For a long time, we thought of these systems, our digestive system, our brain, and our skin, as relatively separate. But we now understand they are constantly talking to each other, primarily through the trillions of microorganisms living in our gut, collectively known as the gut microbiome.
Trillions of microorganisms. It's almost hard to comprehend that we're hosting such a vast inner ecosystem. So when we talk about this axis, we're essentially saying that the health of these gut microbes can directly influence our mental state and the appearance of our skin.
Precisely. Think of your gut as a bustling metropolis. When this city is in harmony with a diverse and balanced population of beneficial bacteria, it produces compounds that positively influence brain function like neurotransmitters, the chemical messengers of the brain. It also helps regulate inflammation throughout the body, which is crucial for clear, healthy skin. But if this inner city is in disarray, perhaps due to poor diet, stress, or antibiotics, it can lead to a cascade of problems, from brain fog and anxiety to skin issues like acne, eczema, or premature aging.
That's fascinating. I'd love to hear a real-life example. Have you encountered patients where this connection was particularly evident?
Absolutely. I recall a young woman, let's call her Jane, in her late 20s. She came to me struggling with persistent anxiety and significant acne breakouts, which had plagued her for years despite trying numerous topical treatments and even medications. She also complained of frequent bloating and digestive discomfort. On the surface, her anxiety and skin issues seemed like separate problems.
And I imagine that's how most people, and perhaps even many doctors, would approach it. Treat the anxiety with one strategy and the acne with another.
Exactly. But when we dug deeper into her lifestyle and diet, and eventually did some advanced gut health testing, we found significant imbalances in her gut microbiome, a condition often referred to as dysbiosis. She had an overgrowth of certain less beneficial bacteria and a deficiency in some of the crucial good ones. We hypothesized that this dysbiosis was contributing to low-grade systemic inflammation and potentially affecting her neurotransmitter balance, thereby impacting both her skin and her mood.
So, what was the approach then? Did you focus on healing her gut first?
That was the primary focus. We implemented a comprehensive gut healing protocol. This involved dietary changes to remove inflammatory foods and incorporate more fiber-rich, nutrient-dense whole foods to feed the beneficial microbes. We also used targeted probiotics and prebiotics to help rebalance her microbiome, along with supplements to support gut lining integrity. It wasn't an overnight fix, of course.
I can imagine. Rebuilding an entire ecosystem takes time.
It does. But over several months, Jane started noticing remarkable changes. Her digestive issues improved significantly. More surprisingly to her, her anxiety levels began to decrease, and she felt a mental clarity she hadn't experienced in years. And the acne? It started to clear up more effectively than it ever had with topical treatments alone. For Jane, understanding and addressing her gut health was the key that unlocked improvements across what seemed like unrelated aspects of her well-being.
Jane's story is a powerful illustration of this gut-brain-skin axis in action. It really highlights how interconnected everything is. So, Dr. Reddy, let's break down the brain part of this axis first. How exactly do these tiny microbes in our gut communicate with and influence our brains, affecting things like mood and cognitive function?
It's a multifaceted communication. One of the most direct routes is via the vagus nerve, which is like a superhighway connecting the gut directly to the brain. Microbes in the gut can produce various metabolites and neurotransmitters, or precursors to them, like serotonin, dopamine, and GABA. In fact, it's estimated that up to 90% of our serotonin, often called the feel-good neurotransmitter, is produced in the gut.
90%. That's astounding. So if our gut microbiome is out of balance, it could directly impact our serotonin levels and consequently our mood?
Yes, having too few beneficial bacteria, or too many harmful ones, can throw things off and interfere with important processes, including the production of key brain chemicals. This imbalance has been linked to issues like anxiety and depression. On top of that, the microbes in your gut help control inflammation. When the gut is inflamed, often due to an imbalance called dysbiosis, or a leaky gut, where the gut lining becomes too permeable, that inflammation can spread throughout the body. It's not just a gut issue anymore. Inflammatory molecules can make their way into the brain, crossing the blood-brain barrier and affecting how it functions. Over time, this can lead to symptoms like brain fog, low energy, and even contribute to neurodegenerative diseases.
So it's not just about the direct production of neurotransmitters, but also about managing inflammation that can cloud our thinking and dampen our mood. What about stress? Does stress impact this gut-brain communication?
It's a two-way street. Stress can negatively impact the gut microbiome, reducing its diversity and favoring the growth of less beneficial bacteria. This, in turn, can make the brain more vulnerable to the effects of stress, creating a vicious cycle. Conversely, a healthy, resilient gut microbiome can help modulate the stress response, making us more adaptable and less susceptible to the negative impacts of stress.
That makes so much sense. It's like our gut microbes are tiny allies in helping us manage the daily pressures of life. Now let's shift to the skin part of the axis. How does the state of our gut translate to the health and appearance of our skin? We heard about Jane's acne, but what are the mechanisms at play?
The gut-skin connection is just as profound. Similar to the gut-brain axis, inflammation is a key player. When the gut is inflamed and leaky, inflammatory compounds and toxins that should have been contained within the gut can enter the bloodstream. The skin, being our largest organ and a significant detoxification pathway, often bears the brunt of this internal turmoil. This can manifest as acne, rosacea, eczema, psoriasis, or even accelerated skin aging.
So, that persistent redness or those stubborn breakouts might actually be a signal from our gut that something is amiss internally?
Very often, yes. Moreover, the gut microbiome influences the skin microbiome. Just like our gut, our skin has its own unique ecosystem of bacteria. An imbalanced gut can disrupt the balance of the skin microbiome, making it more susceptible to pathogenic bacteria and inflammation. Think of it as the gut setting the tone for the skin's local defenses.
It's like an internal imbalance creating an external one. Are there specific nutrients or compounds produced by a healthy gut that directly benefit the skin?
Absolutely. A healthy gut microbiome is essential for proper nutrient absorption. If your gut isn't functioning optimally, you might not be absorbing the vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants crucial for skin health, even if you're eating a nutritious diet. Furthermore, beneficial gut bacteria produce short-chain fatty acids, like butyrate, when they ferment dietary fiber. Butyrate has potent anti-inflammatory effects throughout the body, including the skin, and it helps maintain the integrity of the gut lining, preventing that leaky gut scenario we discussed.
So feeding our good gut bacteria with fiber is essentially a beauty treatment from the inside out.
In many ways, yes, it's about creating an internal environment that supports health systemically, and the skin often reflects that internal balance beautifully.
This is all incredibly insightful, Dr. Reddy. We've talked about the problems that can arise when the gut-brain-skin axis is out of sync. Now, for the crucial part, what can our listeners do to nurture this inner ecosystem and support the health of their gut, brain, and skin simultaneously?
This is where it becomes very empowering, Anna, because many of the strategies are within our control. It starts with diet, which is fundamental. First, embrace fiber and diversity in your diet. Aim for a wide variety of plant-based foods, fruits, vegetables, legumes, nuts, seeds, and whole grains. These are packed with different types of fiber that feed diverse communities of beneficial gut bacteria. The more diverse your diet, the more diverse and resilient your microbiome tends to be. Aim for at least 30 different plant species a week if you can.
30 different plants a week. That's a great goal. It encourages us to move beyond eating the same few fruits and vegetables.
Exactly. Second, incorporate fermented foods. Foods like yogurt with live active cultures, kefir, sauerkraut, kimchi, kombucha, and miso are natural sources of probiotics, the beneficial bacteria themselves. Including these regularly can help replenish and diversify your gut flora.
Those are becoming much more popular and accessible, which is great news.
It is. Third, limit processed foods, sugar, and artificial sweeteners. These can feed less desirable bacteria, promote inflammation, and disrupt the delicate balance of your microbiome. Sugar, in particular, can be detrimental to both gut and skin health, often exacerbating conditions like acne.
That's a tough one for many, but understanding the direct impact on our inner ecosystem might provide extra motivation.
Fourth, manage stress effectively. As we discussed, chronic stress wreaks havoc on the gut. Incorporate stress-reducing practices into your daily routine, whether it's meditation, yoga, deep breathing exercises, spending time in nature, or engaging in hobbies you enjoy. Even short, consistent efforts can make a big difference.
The mind-gut connection working in our favor this time.
That's right. Fifth, prioritize sleep. Quality sleep is essential for gut repair and overall health. Lack of sleep can alter your microbiome and increase inflammation. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep per night.
Right, sleep plays such a big role in keeping everything balanced.
Sixth, hydrate adequately. Water is crucial for digestive health, helping to move things along and supporting the mucosal lining of the gut. And seventh, be mindful with antibiotics. While sometimes necessary, antibiotics can indiscriminately wipe out both good and bad bacteria. If you do need to take them, talk to your doctor about strategies to support your gut health during and after treatment, such as taking a high-quality probiotic.
Those are all very practical and actionable steps. It seems like nurturing our gut-brain-skin axis isn't about a quick fix, but rather a holistic approach to lifestyle.
That sums it up perfectly. It really comes down to making everyday choices that support this amazing system inside us. When you care for your gut, it impacts so much. Your mind feels clearer, your mood steadier, and even your skin starts to glow. It's true health from the inside out.
Dr. Reddy, this has been an incredibly illuminating discussion. The idea that these trillions of microbes within us hold so much power over our mental well-being and even the radiance of our skin is both humbling and empowering. Thank you for breaking down the gut-brain-skin axis in such an understandable and actionable way.
My pleasure. It's a fascinating and rapidly evolving area of science, and the more we understand, the more tools we have to optimize our health.
And thank you to all our listeners for joining us on Everyday Health Stories. We hope this episode has inspired you to think a little differently about your inner ecosystem and the profound connections within your body. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss our next episode, where we'll be exploring another fascinating aspect of health and wellness. If you found this episode helpful, please consider sharing it with a friend or family member who might benefit from this information.
And as always, this podcast is for informational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical advice. Always consult your healthcare provider for any medical concerns or before making any changes to your health routine.
Until next time, stay healthy, stay curious, and remember that nurturing your inner world can transform your outer one. Bye for now.